do
I had
it.
this nasty hangnail, so getting rid of that.
I'm gonna
All
open
right.
with that.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Another Bourbon Show. Tonight we are going to be drinking. Well, once Ryan gets rid of his hangnail, we are going to be drinking some Law's Rye Whiskey that Ryan is providing. So, show us that bottle.
There
Look
it
at
is.
that. That's a beautiful son of a bitch right there.
Nice bottle.
That's a 9. Let's move on.
Steven's like, and it's a 2. 2 out of 10.
Now, right? So, Steven, what do you think about that label?
Let me shit on everything you love.
And I'm gonna start with this bottle. No, that number 17 down there is fitting because I think it's a 1 plus 7. I think it's an 8.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
I think that now this one looks like I'm thinking it's the lighting that you got going on, Ryan. Because when I look it up online, that's like kind of like a lime green-ish label that we're looking at.
Yeah, it's more like kind of like a mint chocolate chip type green.
Yeah.
If you're more in person, yeah.
Got it. Yeah. So that color I think it looks really good. Again, for whatever reason, it's because of the lighting in your room, it's showing up a little bit different, but I'm looking at it online and it looks really nice. I love that color. That's like a more like rich color, I feel like, than a lot of the rye labels. It's unique. I like the bold outlines around the label. I think this is one of the best looking labels, I think, to fit that bottle shape. Going with such a rectangular boxy look. The other one that did that was the Lux Row, the cask strength. That one has like big, bold. It's a very boxy, I would say like masculine overall shape. It's the same kind of shape that like got your Chevy, that big boxy look. I think it's pretty clear what everything is there on the front, easy to read. And I like the label being a little bit lower and putting the glass, the molded glass on top, featuring that a little more because it is a nice bottle as well. A lot of good choices. And then they have I don't really know what that, geometric shape is towards the top there. I know it's their symbol. But yeah, looks cool to me. We were talking earlier about kind of like whiskey lounges and stuff. And I like the aesthetic because it looks like something you'd see at a whiskey lounge. And I like the name Law's Whiskey House. So an 8 out of 10.
I like
nice
the 8.
glass too. Yeah, very heavy bottle when it's full.
Yeah. I think I think it's a sharp bottle. I think it's a sharp label. Would we say like so, Stephen? I know that you said that it's a different color, and I didn't know that. But on the screen here, it kind of looked like a taupe, maybe, or but it's more of a greenish color. You said, Brian?
Yeah, it's more of it's not total. It's like lighter play of like a mint chocolate chip. It's not as green, but it's sort of going that way. It's not lime. It's not lime. It's not minty.
Yeah. Okay.
On the left here.
Oh, and it's kind of cool that they carry that color onto the bonded and the cask strength, but just at the bottom.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
There. Whereas if you look at their bourbons here, you can see that they do the same thing on the bourbons, but it's a gold, and then their limited release stuff, kind of is all over the place, but they keep the overall look. And I think it's a really nice looking lineup. Everything looks like it fits. There's a clear brand going on, but everything is very distinct. And I would say every single one of their choices is a unique color. Not just unique in terms of that one's purple, that one's white, but this, purple/pink is a different shade than you typically see. Even same with the rye. Yeah. They're picking different shades, and I think it looks really good.
Good for them. Good for them. Yeah, I can support an 8.
Yeah, and
what do you think, Ryan?
Background. Yeah, I really like it too. Stands out on the shelf. I actually hadn't seen those other bottles outside their standard bourbon. Real sharp labels on a shelf. It really pops. Obviously, can't really tell. You could see it on the picture you had, but Law's Whiskey House right there. Yeah, everything about it is just classy, sort of an old school, might be in the background of a Mad Men episode type bottle, which I'm always a fan of. But a little background of it: San Luis Valley straight rye. The San Luis Valley is in southern Colorado, kind of near New Mexico.
Aren't they in Denver?
But yeah, but they're so I think they're just honoring southern Colorado. I'm guessing maybe they get some of the ingredients for this down there, but yeah, they're southern Denver, pretty much almost to Littleton, right outside of Denver. So yeah. So here you go. I looked up their whiskey house. It's pretty small. It looks like a cool little operation.
So are they closer then to Columbine or where the shooting was for at Batman?
So,
which part of Denver are they? Which school shooting or which mass shooting are they?
Mass shooting history wise. So Aurora, that's going to be on the more the eastern side of Denver. And my little knowledge of Columbine, I know it's southwestern.
So probably closer
southwest
to Columbine.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
You say Columbine like it's Columbo, Dan.
How is it pronounced?
I think it's. I've always heard it as Columbine, but I don't know
Columbine?
that that's. You say
how am I saying it?
You're saying Columbine, like you're kind of like
Columbine.
You hear that too, Ryan?
Yeah.
Like in the same way I would say Columbo, like you're like, I don't know, you're like, I wouldn't say slurring the first part, but it's almost like you're not separating it enough or something. It stood out to me. So as far as like Colorado whiskeys we've had, Stranahan's was the other one. Was there another one? I was thinking there was 3.
No. This is the second.
Okay.
Cody Road?
We didn't have
Colorado?
Cody Road.
Do we not?
First of all, we haven't had Cody Road. Second of all, I think they're out of Wyoming, aren't they?
Yeah, that's what it is. I swear we had one more Colorado whiskey. Yeah, other big ones: Breckenridge, Tin Cup, which is Old Elk from Colorado?
Yes, they are.
There it is.
There you go.
There it is.
Fuck you, Dan.
For once, I'm wrong. For the first time ever.
I'm glad we got that. I'm gonna have to send this to Annie that we finally got it one time.
One time. My perfect record is broken after 44 and a half years. Shit. Son of a bitch. All right. Well, I'm out. See you guys.
Blocks us on everything.
What's the point of having a podcast if you can be wrong on it?
Hey, we're 3 white men. We're never wrong.
Okay, it's a spicy night. We're having a rye, and we are going spicy tonight.
Hey, tell us about here's what I know about this whiskey. Okay, I know that it's aged at least 4 years. Everything they have is aged at least 4 years in 53-gallon casks. I don't know what proof they bottle at. I don't know the mash bill. So if you've got that, let us know.
Yeah. So for the straight rye, it actually says aged at least 3 years. I got to look up the mash bill for you, but it's batch 17, and the alcohol percent is 47.5. So you're looking at what, 95 proof.
Yeah, for some reason I thought everything they did was aged 4 years, but okay, cool.
Maybe all the bourbons are.
Well, what do you say? We have a sip, or
let's do it.
Get into
Let's do it. On the nose, I have a really weird note that I'd love to see if you guys agree. I smell just a little bit of a mild curry chicken.
I do not, but that's okay. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I don't get that.
There is a group locally, and I forget the name of like the bakery or whatever, that makes like a curry puff, like a pastry. And it smells like this.
No, I don't get that. But
by the way,
for
this
me,
is 100% rye. by the way.
Wow. Okay.
Heirloom rye is the spice.
So I was gonna
Grain.
it's funny because I was gonna say, like, I just get a classic rye spicy nose. Like, to me, I expect this to be a very peppery whiskey just based off of what I'm getting from the nose.
Let's get like a mint gum. Not a
Mint I
bubblegum,
can
but
see.
Yeah.
Mint I can see. I find that curry chicken interesting, but
Yeah.
but I don't get that
I
yet.
I wonder if I could get those puffs sometime because they even sell them, like you can like make them at home, like get frozen ones.
Mhm.
Sometime I just want to make them for you guys next time you're at my place, just so you can smell what I smell. Bring a bottle of Laws, Ryan. We'll do a comparison.
Look, I'm a fat man. You can cook for me anytime.
Those curry puffs are good too. I'll have to look up that name of that place.
I eat a lot of Indian food, so I don't really get it. But
All right, well,
I'm
it's
probably
St. Louis
exposed to
curry.
it
I don't know what to
St.
say.
Louis. Well, cheers, Dan. Took a sip
Yeah, I
before
already
us.
sipped, but cheers.
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 This is pretty damn good.
You like it?
It's a spicy boy. I get a lot of pepper.
Cinnamon.
It's got a neat, like a neat light sweetness to it. It's not very sweet at all.
No.
Like if you're thinking that you're going to be having a sip of a bourbon, this is nothing like a bourbon. This is very much a 100% rye whiskey. I do get some of that mint, almost like a grassy, earthy note to it too.
There's something about it. Like maybe it's just a placebo effect because I know it's 100% rye. There's something that feels very pure and very clean about it. Like it just feels like the grain comes through so strong. Like I feel like I know exactly what that grain tastes like. And again, it could be placebo effect, but I feel like sometimes when I'm drinking something, I don't really feel like I have any sense of what any individual grain tastes like in it. But I feel like, I don't know, it just comes through really cleanly. Like there's no weird like alcohol-y-ish taste to this.
Yeah. On the Laws website, they say flavors of black tea, sweet mint, salted toffee, orange peel, fig, followed by radiant green peppercorn spice.
And curry chicken, what?
And curry chicken. And curry chicken. A lot of people said they get hints of like coffee grounds on the finish too.
I can kind of see that a little bit. There's a little bitter kind of richness.
So the one that you read off that made the most sense to me is black tea. Like I wouldn't have necessarily named that, but I think that what I was referring to as that like grassy, earthy flavor could easily be described as a black tea flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And my
interesting.
Another thing is my glass is like completely clean. Like I'm looking around it and there's like hardly any legs from this. It just feels like it's like pure.
That's weird.
I got a lot of legs. Yeah, I got a lot of legs in mine.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have put
like heavy legs.
I've been cleaning these with Windex. Maybe I should stop.
Yeah, probably. See, I like
They do go away pretty quick though.
So I wash my glasses, but then I dunk them in olive oil and let them sit. That's the trick right there.
Season them. Yeah, nice.
Was it a Blackstone griddle?
Or any cast iron, you fucking rich piece of shit. Is it my name brand? Fuck you, man.
I got it as a gift. I mean, what do you want me to say?
Are you wearing those UGG flip-flops today?
They are downstairs. I'm not. I got my slippers. But yeah, I went out. We went to the Aurora.
But you are wearing slippers. That was the reveal just now.
Yeah, I am wearing slippers.
Okay.
Or you look like
I was wearing slippers. I was before I walked in the room. I must have left them outside the door.
You look like a homeless person from like the Golden Mile or whatever the fuck you call it, from the rich area of Chicago, right? Like
The Magnificent
like
Mile.
Magnificent Mile, right? Like it's a nice hoodie and sweatshirt,
Banff, baby, Canada.
but it's like somebody gave it to you because they felt bad for you, right? Like, but it was a rich person.
I mean, this was like $20 in Canada, which was like $10 American, which is because their dollar's terrible. Go to Canada if you can. But yeah, I got some new sweatpants, Abercrombie and Fitch, but who cares? I mean, who cares? And I
It's
got
hard to get
slippers.
cheap sweatpants. What makes sweatpants so fucking expensive?
I
These
don't
are
know.
like $30 that I bought. They were
That's
I
fine.
went
That's a fine
in
price.
in Aurora. They have a big outdoor shopping mall. It's a like an outlet mall essentially, but it's all like high end brands, and they have middle of the line brands up to high end brands, but they have like an Abercrombie there, an Express, a Johnston, a bunch of shit, and it's all pretty fucking cheap, which is nice. So they have an UGG outlet store there, so I went and bought some flip flops and some slides, and it was $75 for both pairs. Not bad,
No, it's not bad at all.
So spent a couple $100 at the mall. There was a Steve Madden outlet. I bought a nice pair of shoes for $20. Like, I need to come out here more often. It's just like an hour and 10 minutes away. UGG outlet, dude.
Oh, there's an UGG at the St. Louis one too.
And there's a Wetzel's Pretzels.
I don't know if we got one of those.
Oh, you do?
We might.
I'm on the store directory.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't think I've ever had Wetzel's. I've had Annie Ann's quite a bit.
SIUE, baby.
Yeah, and like different
Yeah.
malls still have them. And one of the last times Jesse and I were at a mall, I got an Annie Ann's like pretzel, and I wanted to get it with. I forget what I even wanted to get it with, but I had to get it. I wanted to get like the original pretzel with like light salt or something, but they were like, we only have pretzel bites left, and they were like getting ready to close. I was like, whatever, that's fine. It'll, scratch the itch. And then I got it with cheese sauce, and those fucking pretzel bites are so fucking salty, like way saltier than like the regular pretzel. And because like it's just like in a cup, and then they just douse salt on it. And then I was like dunking those in the salty ass like cheese sauce, and I'm like, I'm eating. I'm like, I feel like I'm sweating. Like I need like water now, like badly.
You ever ate something like either something so salty or so many things that are pretty salty that the next day you piss and it's like cloudy?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's
That
pretty much
is
every
just-
time I piss.
You should see a doctor about that, okay?
Is it blood in the stool, cloudy piss?
So, what do you say we rate this son of a bitch then?
Let's do it.
Yeah? I'll even offer to go first.
Wow.
I mean, that's not uncommon.
I know. I'm just fucking with you.
It oftentimes it seems like you two don't want to. That's
I feel
one
like
of the reasons.
that would be such a perfect clip if we were making a commercial for this podcast. Where like Dan's like, I'll offer to go first. Wow. It's a lack of excitement, lack of emotion.
Fine. You know what, Ryan? You go first. You piece of
No,
shit.
you can go.
No,
dude.
no, I'm not
After
going.
you.
The
I don't
world
know if
is
you go
on-
first,
dude.
The world's on bated breath for our Laws Rye review.
So I'm gonna go with the 6.5. To me, it kind of like fell flat the more I sipped of it. It was, yeah, it's a fine rye whiskey, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's got some interesting characteristics. The mint is really cool. It got a little bit sweeter the more I drank of it, but it doesn't have all that long of a hug. It doesn't have that warm of a hug. It doesn't have all that great of a finish. It's a fine finish, but it's nothing special. It's got an okay nose and it's got an okay palate, but there's nothing extraordinary about it. There's nothing fantastic about it. It's fine. It is perfectly, totally fine. And because of that, I'm just going to give it a 6.5. I think that that's an appropriate score for how its flavors and its characteristics compared to our 5.0, which is Jim Beam White Label. We never talked about the price, but I'm guessing it's in the $50 range.
Yeah, like 50 to 60, depending on
Yeah.
where
Yeah, I
you
mean
get
it's a
it. Yeah.
craft distillery, so you've got, you're going to pay a little bit extra for that. Um, Good job. There's nothing about it that would like I don't want to seem negative about it because I'm not. Like I would be happy to try other things from Laws to see how they taste, but this particular bottle, it's fine. It's a 6.5.
And that's what I was debating whether to send you guys. Not that I have this other bottle, but their bourbon's a 4 grain. I'm like, oh well, we had at that moment in time before I sent the samples, we had done a good amount of bourbons in a row. And I'm like, you know what? I'll send over the rye just because we hadn't done any in a little while. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm at a 6.5. Um it's fine.
Yeah. I'll go next. I'm gonna go a full point higher. I'm gonna go 7.5. I really like the nose. I really like the mintiness of it. I thought that was pretty cool given that it's 100% rye whiskey. Um a lot of 100% rye, without any other grains. It's just a kick in the face with peppercorn and cinnamon and any other spice that is spicy. But I really liked how there were other layers to it, like the spearmint and the gum. I thought there was a lot of vanilla in it. The more I drank, it did get sweeter and sweeter and sweeter every time I drank it. Um, I don't think it's overly complex like a lot of the ryes that we've had, and maybe that's just because it's just 1 grain the entire way through. But given that it's just the 1 grain and it still had other elements aside from those spicy notes, I thought it was pretty solid. So this is a newer whiskey for me. This is my first time drinking it along with you guys, and I'm excited to try some of their higher end stuff. And I think you can sort of taste the youngness in this. I don't think it's probably 4 years. I imagine it's right at 3. A lot of these, and I don't know if you guys feel this way, younger whiskeys, a lot of these craft distilleries, you sort of get that young, similar taste across the board just because it hasn't aged as often. And I don't know how to exactly pinpoint that taste, if you know what I'm talking about. You know when a whiskey's young just by tasting it. The amount of whiskeys we've had, what's young and what's been aged longer. So I do get a lot of those notes of it being young. So I think, if this was like a 6-year rye, that we get a lot more out of it than we do. But I still really, really enjoyed it. So I'm gonna go 7.5.
Well, I think we have a pretty good spread because I'm going to almost split the difference here with a 6.9. Ryan, that's your cue. And I think that, I couldn't quite give it a 7. That's why I'm coming in where I am. What was the price on this, by the way?
About $50.
About $50. 59. That's a little expensive for the experience that I think I had drinking this. There's a lot of good rye out there. We've had a lot of good rye on this show. But if I hadn't had that, I do think that there is something to this bottle, and I think it would be an interesting one. I know that, you said earlier, Dan, that whenever you were drinking it, it was like, like this is very much a rye. Obviously you can tell that from the rye content, but I think my takeaway from drinking this is you kind of have to put price aside because $50 is a little much for this. But if I was just giving somebody a glass of rye for the first time who was a bourbon drinker, just to show them how different rye can be, I think this is one of those that would come to mind for, like, it's a good example of rye as a grain. I think. I don't think it's the best rye necessarily. I don't think it's the best rye to get bourbon drinkers into rye. I'm coming up with a weird category here, but I do think that it is interesting and it has a lot of unique characteristics that show the beauty of rye, I think, if that makes sense. Because I do agree with Ryan. I really like the nose. That elevates the score a little bit for me. It's a unique nose, I think. And I do like the flavor that I'm picking up. I thought it was a very pleasant drink. I think you have to bring a little bit more at that price point, and it wasn't. There's no there's not a lot of complexity to it or anything. And for everything that I'm saying about being a good example of rye early on, I still think there's much cheaper ryes that are much better ryes that are much cheaper that I would recommend as first ryes. One that stuck with me just from this show has been the Rittenhouse rye. I think that's a great first rye, very cheap, a great mixer as well. This one, I can't really say any of those things for, but again, I do think there is something to this bottle, I want to say. And just like Ryan, I agree with almost everything Ryan said. And I look forward to trying some other things by this company because just like whenever we try the, why can't I think of the name now? I can see the bottle. Penelope. Whenever we try the Penelope, it was like, there's something here. I don't think we're trying their best offering, but there is something here. And that's how I feel about this too. So a 6.9.
Another bourbon show. Another bourbon show. Another bourbon show.
It's funny that
I
we're
thought it was
drinking
a-
laws tonight and you're bringing up all this lawlessness.
Whoa, no, it's within the law actually. It's in Colorado. You're allowed to kill at least 4 kids per year.
Oh boy.